another privilege and a chance to be in his house one more time. I just think I ought to tell you, Mama Herman, that the one thing that could be holding up your miracle could be your worship and your praise. That was a good time for you to get in on the song.
Yes, Lord.
And worship God.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
And give him praise, glory, and honor.
Yes, yes.
Somebody else should have done like Sue.
My Lord.
And just say, hold up, Rev.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what the Lord has done for me. Amen. Amen. I'm going to say this again. The one thing that could be holding up your miracle could be your worship and your praise.
Yes, Lord.
And even your unforgiveness. And your choosing is to sit and worship and not tell God thank you. I'm here today because God is good to me. I thank God for his amazing grace. I'm not going to let what nobody else do or don't do reflect what I do or not do. I came to give God praise. I came to give him glory. And I've come to give him honor. Chapter 4, verse 35. Lord Herman, I need your prayers. That you witness to the word of God. Mark chapter 4. Verse 35. And the same day, when the even was come, he said unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. God bless you. For a few moments, I want to talk again from the subject, you can make it. You can make it.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Amen. Yes, you can.
To succeed in life,
Yes, Lord.
we must have Jesus with us.
All right, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Christ can calm any storm.
Amen. Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Jesus made a promise to his disciples in verse 35. He says, let us pass over to the other side.
Yes, Lord.
Now, if one stamp can take a letter clear across country,
All right, all right.
don't you know that Jesus is able to get you there?
Yes, Lord. Hallelujah. Yes, Lord.
Don't you know that the Lord can get you to wherever you need to be?
Yes, Lord.
No storm had overwhelmed these disciples before. As a matter of fact, they were able to get through any storm. And I'm here to tell somebody here today, Mount Hermon, that you will get through this storm. You had never been in a storm like this before. And then they were put to the test. Clouds
All right, hallelujah.
start to gather.
Hallelujah.
The wind starts to blow it.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
They secretly begin to feel matters are getting serious. The disciples are thinking to themselves, in this storm, it's a real crisis. My question to you this morning, Mount Hermon, are we obligated to panic when the going gets tough? Are we liable to fall to pieces when life gets rough? But I want to tell you this morning, don't let bad news change your mind.
Amen. Yes, Lord.
Jesus' authority over the wind and the sea demonstrates his identity as God. And it shows us that he is the one that we can trust. God arranged the storm in the lives of his apostles to increase their faith in the one that they should already be trusting in. Are y'all going to help me here? The real point of this is what? It's not about Jesus getting you through the storms of life. That's not what it's all about, because he does that anyway. But this account, this passage is about the one who is the sovereign and who is the all-powerful Lord. Because when the storm was over, they did not look back at the storm and say, "Wow, what a storm." But they did say in verse 41, it says that they feared exceedingly one to another and say, "What manner of man is this? That even the wind and the sea obey him." That's what this message is all about. It's not so much about you and your storm, because I already told you that every storm you've ever been in, it was the Lord who brought you through.
All right. Thank you, Lord.
I'll have more witnesses than that, but it's all right. I'm going to make it anyway. But listen, in verse 36, he says, "And when they had sent the multitude away, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there were also with him other little ships." Look, to succeed and be safe in our passage through life, we must have Christ with us.
All right. Amen.
Yeah. Look. We used to say it like this, "Man, take the Lord with you."
Yeah.
Everywhere. That's right. Everywhere. You go in the streets, in the crowd, when you're home, when you're all along highway, byway. Take the Lord with you. Y'all ought to help me everywhere.
Hallelujah.
The reason you ought to have the Lord with you, because there is no app for your storm. You got to take him. That's what it says. They took Jesus. They took him with them. They took him even as he was in the ship. I mean, you got to take Jesus as he is, and then you got to go as you are too. Yeah. They took him even without making any preparations. And that's how I found the Lord. That's how I took him. I came to Jesus just as I was, weary, worn and sad, but I found in him resting place, and he has made me glad. Do y'all want to know what the Lord saw when he saw me, when he looked at me? He saw the best in me. And everyone else around me could only see the worst in me. He saw the best in me. Did y'all know, Mount Hermon, that being a sinner with issues and problems and storms is what qualifies you to meet Jesus? I'm going to say that again. Being a sinner with problems and storms and issues is what qualifies you to meet Jesus. So the next time you're out witnessing, and the next time you're out talking to somebody and evangelizing and trying to lead someone to Christ, and if they tell you, "I'm going to come when I get myself straight," you tell them, "No, it's your crookedness that qualifies you to meet Jesus." If they smelling too bad, just say, "Come on, spray this on you. Here's a piece of gum. Come on with me." That's what qualifies you to meet Jesus. That's the problem. We try to clean so many folk up before we get them here. You just bring them just like they are. You can't just bring them just the way you came.
Yes, Lord. Amen. Yes, Lord.
In verse 37, it says, suddenly everything just turns upside down. You ever been having a good day and the phone rang?
Yes, Lord.
He says, verse 37, there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship so that it was now full. I mean, all of a sudden, everything just turns around. But if you're desiring lasting success, if you desire lasting success, and if you want to have help in trouble, if you want hope to reach the other side in safety, then you're going to have to ask Jesus to accompany you in your ship. Are y'all with me here? Well, listen. I'm old enough to know now and to tell you that you will encounter storms.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. You sure will.
But the one thing that keeps us from sinking is the presence of Jesus.
Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Are y'all with me here? I ain't gonna even talk about the way y'all. I ain't gonna worry about it. Look, I'm gonna say that again. You will encounter storms, but the one thing that keeps you and me from sinking is the presence of Jesus.
Amen.
And that's why another thing about Hermon, we should not be alarmed by the surprises in our lives. You ought not be surprised by how folk treat you and how they act toward you, even when you know you have done nobody wrong. Did y'all hear what I just said? I said you ought not be surprised the way folk handle you, even when you know you did everything you could for them. But let me listen. Sister Cecile came into the study this morning, and she was telling me about an instance of a person not speaking to her yesterday, and she said, "Rev, it didn't even bother me."
All right.
And when she said that, I said, wait, Cecile, I got to write that down. And this is what I want to tell y'all today, Mount Hermon, and you might need to write it down, tweet it, text it, or whatever. You know you've been delivered when folk mistreat you and it don't hurt no more. Y'all missing this. You know you've been delivered when folk don't speak to you and you don't cuss them out no more. Yeah, you know how it is when folks speak to you and you get so agitated and disturbed and mad. You say, I know he saw me speaking. Yeah, you got to get to the point. It just don't bother you no more. That's when you know you delivered. If you leave that cussing and all that, he still need to work on you. Yeah. We shouldn't be alarmed by the surprises in our lives. Listen, y'all, because God will work with you, messed up and all. Did you hear what I just said? God will work with you. God will work with you, messed up. You know you better. Who else knows you better than you know you? You know what you'll do in certain situations. And God says, even though you know what you'll do, I still love you. And I still work with you. I still try and get you right. Look, trials and tribulations and difficulties and desperate moments are when God does his greatest work in our lives.
Yes, Lord.
He'll build you up.
Yes, he will.
He will strengthen you. Look, if God does not remove your problem, he will give you so much strength that you'll be able to hold your head up and go through your problems with folk looking at you saying, oh, look at him. It's got to be nobody but God that's holding her up in a time like this. Yeah, I remember a long time ago we used to sing a song that said, in a time like this. Anybody else remember that? In a time like this. Oh, in a time like this. Oh, I need the Lord to help me. Y'all gonna leave me out there by myself, but I don't even care. In a time like this, you need the Lord to help. It was difficult. It was a difficult matter to follow Christ's ship because of the boisterous waves. Do you know that the boats that follow Christ are the boats that were following the ship that Jesus was in encountered the same storm? And that lets me know today, Mount Hermon, that other folk are affected by your storm.
All right. Amen.
Other folk are affected by your storm. Folk close to you. I mean, I got news this past week of my cousin with an issue. I mean, and that bothered me. And then you get the news. I got news that my other little cousin, 15 years old, died in New Orleans, and that's an issue. And then I got a cousin laying in ICU in Houston, and all of that affected me. All I'm telling y'all is that other folk are affected by your storm. And not only that, listen, the other little ships were following Jesus. And I want y'all to know today that it's never easy to follow Jesus. Are y'all with me here? Yeah, I had to put my own tears on hold to go and see about somebody else. Y'all ain't with me here. I'm just trying to tell you how to get through your storm. That's why I can tell you that you can make it. I mean, sometimes you just have to put your own tears on hold, smile, and witness, and be a helping hand to somebody else.
Yes, sir.
No one yet found it easy to follow Christ because of the forces that's against us. But I can tell you today, Mount Hermon, when you follow Jesus, all you do is win. Are y'all with me yet? Yeah, again in verse 38 it says, he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow, and they awake him and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? They are in a storm, and what is Jesus doing? Sleeping. You know what that says to me? It tells me that Jesus was not bothered by the storm. Are y'all with me here? Did they ask him, do you care? Now, that's a puzzling question to ask a loving and a caring God. I mean, because if God is loving and all-powerful, the question is, why do believers face the threatening trials of life? Did y'all get the question? If God is loving and all-powerful, why do believers face the threatening trials of life? We face these trials that we might experience His grace. Are y'all with me? Jesus said, look, I just wanted to rest. He sought the momentary rest that crossing the lake offered him. Jesus said, if we get in this boat and cross the lake, I'll be able to get me a nap. He was resting his head upon the bench that served for a seat and for a pillow. But while he slept as a man, he was still watchful as God.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, he was.
Jesus' sleep says that he was unworried and unbothered by the storm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so sleepless nights are a good sign that God is not in control of your life.
All right.
He's sleeping in his
My Lord.
His humanity and his deity are on display in this story. Are y'all with me here? And it's his humanity that appears so clearly when he's in the stern of the boat, fast asleep on a cushion, because the Bible repeatedly teaches us about our Lord's full and true humanity. The Bible teaches us that the Lord was just as much man as he was God. Let's look at the man side of God. In Matthew chapter 4, it says he got hungry. In Mark chapter 3, in verse 5, it tells us that he got angry. In John chapter 11, in verse 35, it tells us that he cried. And then again, in the Gospels, it tells us that he went to Calvary and he died. That was the human side of him. Are y'all with me here? But this is the only time in the Gospels that we read of Jesus sleeping. And yes, he is human, but there is something else. He has complete trust in the providential care of his Father.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Here it is, these veteran fishermen are terrified, but the carpenter from Nazareth is sleeping soundly.
Yes.
All right.
Y'all wake up.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
When we're in our deepest distresses, it seems sometimes as the Lord, it appears to disregard our danger, as if he slept and as if he's inattentive and unbothered by our cries. But the good news is that he sees, he hears, and he will be found faithful to his people. Psalm 46 says that the Lord is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Now, Mount Hermon, I could be hooping and hollering this to you, but it may not help you. So if I talk it out, I mean, maybe you'll see what I'm trying to say. Although Jesus may not appear to be present or even to care in our situation, the good news is that he will deliver his people when they're going through trouble. All you got to do is wait on the Lord. Notice, Mount Hermon, that the sleeping Jesus was in the boat, but it exercised no influence, nor does it have any effect on the storm.
My Lord.
Are y'all with me here? Y'all watch this. It is possible to have an embalmed Christ and yet have no Christianity. What I mean by an embalmed Christ, some of us still got Jesus dead. Embalmed, and you see, we've embalmed him, and the reason for embalming is to keep the body suitable for public display, either at a funeral, for medical science, or religious reasons. And so some folk got Jesus on display for public viewing only. Yeah, we'll brag on yeah, I got Jesus. Yeah, I've been to church, but we still got him dead. We still ain't been delivered. We still going through the same old things. We still lying. We still cheating. We still talking about one another. We still unforgiving. We still hating on one another. Yeah, we got an embalmed Jesus in church every Sunday. But what about those who done woke him up? Yeah, we said, I've been to church. That's how I know Jesus is still, we got a dead Jesus in our lives, or you got a dead Jesus in your life, is because you've been to church. But the question is, where are the results of a changed life?
All right. Amen. All right.
But one of these days, a storm will hit your life where you will have to wake Jesus up.
Yes, Lord.
The apostles are in a panic, and here they wake Jesus up. And let me just tell y'all something. When you're in trouble, don't pray too long. Y'all just get right to the point. I mean, when you're in trouble, you ain't got time to get that long, drawn-out prayer. Get right to the point.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
The disciples knew what they wanted, and they asked for it. Look at it. They said, Master, carest thou not that we perish? It ain't had no whole lot of words. 7 words.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, every now and then you just need a 7-word prayer or less. I mean, let's see. Let's just, Lord, have mercy on me. Maybe you don't even need 7 words. If you just get out 5 with Lord, have mercy on me. Don't pray too long. Get to the point.
Yes. Amen.
Do you not care that we're perishing? Here they are questioning his love and his concern for them because they're frustrated by what appears to be indifference to their plight, and they're facing a desperate situation, and they say, Lord, we have no hope of handling this situation ourselves. So because they couldn't handle it themselves, look at what they did. They lashed out at Jesus. Isn't that something? They lash out at him rather than trusting him.
Yes.
and showing faith in the one who has proven himself to be trustworthy in our lives, every day of our lives. I mean, the Lord, we're still on the wake-up list.
Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
I dare you, Mount Hermon, to check his track record in your life. Check his resume in your life. Just ask David what he got to say about the Lord. David said, I have been young, but now I'm old, and I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. I just got to tell you, Mount Hermon, if you're a child of God, you won't go hungry.
Amen.
Verse 39 says, he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, peace, be still, and the wind ceased. And there was a great calm. Listen, the wind will stop beating you when you wake up Jesus.
All right. Yes, Lord.
Divine aid intervenes when all human power has failed. The disciples were doing everything they could to row this boat ashore. But God permits human affairs to proceed to a given point. And at that vital moment, he stretches out his arm. You ought to thank God. That the Lord said, I let you go so far. I let you go through so much. I know when I got enough. He said, I know when you've been through enough. He'll stretch out his arm. I'm shouting myself. Y'all ain't got to say nothing.
Yes, Lord.
Divine help comes when human power fails. There's a moment coming for all of us, Mount Hermon, when no earthly friend or family will be able to help us.
All right. Yes, sir.
Then we'll hear those words, peace, be still.
Yes, Lord.
Isn't that something? When the winds are howling and when the sea is raging, when it's pitch black dark in your life, Jesus will wake up and calm the storm. Those disciples, when they looked at Jesus as he was calming the storm, they said, he must be God. Jesus calmed that storm, turned around and looked in the face of the disciples and said to them, is this all y'all woke me up for?
Hallelujah. Yeah.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
And he asked him in verse 40, he says, why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? Listen, here's something else in the lesson. You are responsible for your own faith. You ain't gonna make it to heaven on mama's faith. You ain't gonna make it to heaven on daddy's faith. You're responsible for your own faith. Christ treats the disciples as responsible for the defectiveness of their faith. They said, you're the reason your faith is messed up. He said, why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? You see, trials and difficulties come for the benefit of our faith. And watch it, when you back up to verse 38, and I'm almost done. In the eye of the storm, rather than trusting Jesus, the disciples accused Jesus of forsaking them.
My Lord.
You know what that says to me? That tells me today, Mount Hermon, that some folk have so much doubt till they can't get blessed.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Some folk
Hallelujah.
have so much doubt until God can't even bless them the way he wants to. Let me ask you a crazy question. What's your credit score with God?
All right.
What's your credit score with God? I asked that to one of my buddies who's crazy, and he said, ooh, Reverend. He said, some folk credit score is so low till they got to ask somebody else to pray for them.
Amen. Hallelujah.
We have no excuse. Because we know Jesus is all powerful, and we know he's an all-knowing God, and we know that he's taken care of all of our sin. We know that he rose from the dead. We know that he can be trusted no matter what. So trials and difficulties are divine appointments to strengthen our faith. So my question to you is, why are you still afraid? Do we still have no faith? Look at it. He didn't say some faith. He said, or little faith, or weak faith. He said, you ain't got no faith. Why is it? I mean, now let me just ask you, let's bring this home. Why is it that after all you've seen and heard me do, that you have no confidence in me as to keep you from being afraid? I might be crying every now and then, but I can tell y'all one thing, Mount Hermon, I've learned how to lean and depend on Jesus. Why? Because I found out that if you trust him, he will provide. Have you no faith? When we don't have confidence in ourselves or in our fellow men, we should have all our confidence in God. We ought to be able to trust God, even when you can't trust nobody else. I went in yesterday and had prayer with my cousin, and I turned around and come right back out. And there's about 5 or 6 of them sitting there saying, you through already? I told them, yeah. I said, it don't take long for me to go ahead and do what I need to do. I know what I went in there for. I said, I went in there to have a little talk with Jesus and come on back out. I wasn't bothering her about how she was feeling or nothing else, because that's between her and God. I said, I wanted to have a talk with God. And I had done it in the waiting room, but they made me go back there. I just went back there so she could know that I had come to see her. Let me tell you something else. When you go see folk, most of the time, they don't remember nothing you say. But they will remember that you came by. Y'all missing this morning. That's what's important when somebody else is going through. It ain't what you say. Let me tell you something. First of all, you just need to hush your mouth. Because we're talking too much, we aggravating folk, then then the nurse will put up a sign, okay, no more visitors, you done wore them out. Now can't nobody else go. Just let them see you. Yes. Are y'all with me here? Yes, sir. I'm done, Mount Hermon, but with Christ in the ship, you can smile at your storm. One summer, a few summers ago, we were having vacation Bible school, and I was teaching the young men. And Arch said to me, Reverend, so you saying that we ought to be able to sleep through our problems and trust Jesus? I said, that's it, brother, you got it. He said, you can sleep through your harmful situations and trust Jesus. Why? Because when your faith is awake, then you can go to sleep. That's what Jesus was doing. His faith was awake. Because the vessel or the life that carries Jesus can never lose. God bless you, Mount Hermon. I just got up to tell y'all you can make it.
Yes, Lord.
And I'm grateful today that I made it through this. Help of the Almighty God. But you know, I've come to realize that some folk would rather have houses and land. Some folk choose silver and gold. These things they treasure and forget about their souls. But not me. I've decided to make Jesus my choice. Why did I choose Jesus? Because the road is rough and the going gets tough and the hills are hard to climb. But I started out a long time ago. I mean, that's a sad indictment on church folk who say, I've been with the Lord a long time, and you still got doubts?
All right. All right.
There's no doubt in my mind. I'm going in my seat when I tell you I've decided to make Jesus my choice. Are you here? The road is rough. The going gets tough. The hills are hard to climb. It started out, come on, a long time ago. There is no doubt in my mind. I decided to make Jesus my choice. By letter, candidate for baptism, or Christian experience. Let me tell you, you know the road is rough. Yes, it is. And the going gets tough. And the hills are so hard. Come on, you ought to give it all you got. I started out a long time ago. There is no doubt in my mind. I've decided to make Jesus, one more time, my choice. I told you the reason you're not delivered yet, it could be because you refuse to worship. So let's try it.